Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the second campaign expenditure deep dive video. I guess the Major Williams one went over so well. Just going to keep doing them. This one is specifically about Joe Collins, as you can see on your screen. We're on the FEC website, the Federal Election Commission. Because he's a federal candidate, you have to go to the fec.gov site. You won't find anything on the California site because he's a federal candidate. So if you're ever looking for like congressman, senator, president, anything like that, obviously any federal position, you have to go on the FEC website. You won't find anything on the California website. That's only for state and local candidates. So I was going through it this past week while sitting around on my iPad, and I was just going through it. It took me about a couple hours to go through all the disbursements to see what Joe Collins was spending money on. Just to give you a point of reference, he raised about $10.8 million in this cycle. Probably part of it was due to that flashy Benny Johnson Arsenal Media video that was put out there. That's why he raised so much money. He did spend pretty much all of it. So when you go and look at the FEC summary, he did raise $10.8 million, and he basically spent about a little over $9 million of it. So I want to see exactly where was all this money going to, because that's a lot of money, and I want to see sort of what's going on. I didn't find any of the lavish expenditures that we found in the last video, which was, restaurants and hotels and stuff like that. There were some like fancy restaurants, nothing like out of the ordinary. Maybe some steakhouses, Trump International. He did stay at a couple Trump properties in New York and in Florida. But that's not really the point of this video, is to look at any lavish expenditures. The real point of this video is because I started coming across a lot of these companies. And when I see a lot of these companies that raise flags for me are companies that I look up, and if I can't find them online within like a quick search, like a quick DuckDuckGo search, that raises a red flag to me. And this first company I want to go over was really what tipped me off that something weird is going on here as to where all this money is going. This company is called Pure Strategy Solutions, and he started distributing money to them. He get disbursements. I keep saying, if I confuse distribution and disbursement, forgive me. It's kind of, I get them mixed up. He started giving the money in July 22nd of 2019. He started giving them $5,000 payments. Actually, two on the same day. Pretty interesting. So he said gave him 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Could be a payment plan, whatever. But what really stuck out for me is when I started to look up who Pure Strategy Solutions is, because they popped up a lot, I had a hard time finding out who Pure Strategy Solutions was. I was able to find this, Pure Strategy Solutions. This is based out of Delaware, and we'll get to that in a second, why that's interesting. It's kind of a basic website, not really anything that is flashy or you think would warrant the amount of money that is going to them. Basic font. It's like one page. It's not really, I don't know, you wouldn't look at this and go, as a candidate, I'm going to send a crap ton of money to this company, because it doesn't jump out at you as like, if they're digital marketing and website development, this is like just a really bad website. That's a Delaware number. So what's really interesting about Pure Strategy Solutions, keep in mind, we have this date, July 22nd, 2019. Joe Collins started giving him money, right? All the way up. He keeps giving him money. When I looked him up in the state of Delaware, because I tried looking him up in California, it turns out there was no company called Pure Strategy Solutions, LLC, in the state of California. So then I went over to the state of Delaware, which is what they switched over to in the report. And it shows that they weren't incorporated until September 17th, 2019. So again, let's look at this. July 22nd, 2019, they weren't officially formed until September 17th, 2019, which means, and I did the math, he sent a little over $64,000 to this company, Pure Strategy LLC, before they were even like an actual company. So you would think if you're hiring a consultant company as a candidate, you're going to send money to a legit company that's actually incorporated. But this company was not actually incorporated until months after he started sending money to him. So that raised like a big red flag to me that something weird is going on here. But I will give them this. They actually have a website, which is a lot better than some of the other consultants I came across. So then I went over and I just organized it just by consultants and by top amount. Now, the first couple are Campaign Solutions. And I want to show you their website, because this is an example of like a legit political consultant website. looks really well done. They have videos, they have a picture of their team, it has all the stuff. I mean, you can see it has good copy, it has a picture that maybe they worked with Marco Rubio, some other candidates for US Senate, and it tells you everything they do. And then you go down and you have all these people. Donatelli, he gave money to someone individually in the family as well. They were a consultant. I guess that's not a big deal. But this is a legit company. This is like your baseline. If you're sending tens of thousands of dollars to a company, this is what your website should really look like, especially if you're like a successful consulting company. So then let's go down. The next one that pops up is this Century City Consulting Inc., which I always, like I said, I like to cross-reference and see, like, who are these people? I tried to look them up, Century City Consulting. Nothing, right? I don't find anything. So then I went on the California Secretary of State, which is where they're filed and incorporated. And it shows this information, which is helpful to us. Shows you the initial street address of the corporation, which we'll get to in a second. The P.O. box, which, you know, can be a little sketchy right off the bat if you do something at a P.O. box. Maybe you're not like a legit business. A lot of people do it that way. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but a P.O. box right away is kind of weird. This right here is interesting as well. They were formed in July 30th of 2020, so just a couple months really before the election. And he started to give them a crap ton of money. So again, these companies that are just all of a sudden popping up out of nowhere and making tens of thousands of dollars off this campaign should raise a huge red flag. The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting is I looked up the actual address of this company, or where they said they were. This was the address, right? It's a 2-bedroom apartment. So for a company that's making tens of thousands of dollars as a consultant grassroots company, you shouldn't be based out of someone's apartment. That's a big red flag. Okay, so let's see who else. Century City Consulting, we talked about them. Infused Media Corporation, I looked them up. Let's see. I found them on LinkedIn. You can go to visit website. Oh, that's too bad. No website for them, so they don't actually have a website. Make It Count, I tried to look them up. Nothing. So here's an example of like what it would look like if you tried to search them. Make It Count. Even though it says it's based out of California, nothing pops up. Blanchard Place in Michigan, I looked them up. I couldn't find anything. The only thing I kept finding was like senior homes. Some of these others I didn't have time to look into, but a lot of them you keep seeing over and over again. So Century City Consulting, Make It Count, Century City, Infused Media. These companies that you really can't find any information on. And Century City is an interesting one, along with Pure Strategies. Look, Pure Strategy made $35,000. That's a big chunk of money. Century City, so after they were incorporated, 28,000, 32,000. You know, you can just kind of go down the list. This one's after the campaign. Why would you give someone $20,000 on campaign consulting after the campaign is already over? I mean, it's November 17th. The campaign's been over. The election's over. Same thing down here, Century City Consulting, November 17th, 2020, $10,000. Why are you still giving the money? And this is for the 2020 cycle, so that's why it's interesting. But yeah, that's basically what I found on this one. And the point to really drive home here is if you look up a lot of these disbursements and who they're spending money on, a lot of these campaigns have a lot of money. And the fact that you're spending tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on these companies, they should look legit. Like they should look like real companies that have people that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. When you start sending tens of thousands of dollars to companies that were formed months before the election, that their initial address is someone's 2-bedroom apartment, or you're sending tens of thousands of dollars to companies that weren't even legally formed, those are big red flags, and those are questions that I think someone like Joe Collins really needs to address. Like, who are these companies? Who are you sending all this money to, and where is it going? So that's basically it. Again, I tried to do the lavish expenditures like the last video. I didn't really see anything that kind of stood out to me, but these consulting companies kind of stood out to me as like, where is all this money going? So with that, you can definitely go look for yourself. Go to FEC Commission. You can literally just search Joe Collins and you'll find all this stuff and you can go through it yourself. All right, I'll see you on the next one.